like to get to it, but maybe I should just back up and say fibromyalgia patients often come to the doctor and say, I hurt all over and I can't sleep. And PTSD patients come to the doctor and say, I can't sleep and I hurt all over. So I think that shows some of the connection between the two conditions, and that maybe they have been artificially separated into rheumatology and fibromyalgia over the years.
Huh. So
but your question about psychology is very important, because there is a psychiatric or psychological component to fibromyalgia, but from our point of view, that's part of the condition and not a reason that anyone should discount the complaints and suffering of fibromyalgia patients. I think that for too long, doctors have blamed fibromyalgia patients for being weak or somehow having a maladaptive reaction to stress, as opposed to taking their pain and sleep problems seriously and looking for real therapies.
Oh, wow. So if there was a study done, and maybe this hasn't happened or maybe it has, would it reveal that fibromyalgia patients who have never been to war, for example, may have had something equally traumatic that has happened in their lives?
That has been studied to some extent, and fibromyalgia patients have a higher incidence of traumatic events in their lives than people without fibromyalgia. But many fibromyalgia patients have not had a traumatic experience.
Okay.
Maybe one way to illustrate the relationship between the two conditions is the case of the pop icon Michael Jackson. And I wasn't his physician. I've just read about this in the popular press. But many people believe that he suffered from fibromyalgia because he complained of symptoms of widespread pain and very problematic sleep.
Okay.
He was sleeping in a hyperbaric chamber and having this concierge doctor give him medicines. But he exemplifies the relationship between PTSD and fibromyalgia, because if the incident where his hair caught on fire during a commercial really precipitated a big downfall in his condition, then you would tend to call that PTSD.
Okay. So if the treatment that you're talking about helps both sets of patients sleep better, does that imply, or do you conclude from that sleep actually can correct or improve a person's condition if they have either fibromyalgia or PTSD?
Yes, and this is something that patients with fibromyalgia do occasionally experience, and also patients with PTSD. And we are just trying to increase the number of restorative nights of sleep. But it does happen naturally. Unfortunately, restful nights are few and far between for these patients.
So now explain what did you call it, a salve? Is it something you rub on the outside of the body, on the skin? Is it topical?
No, our medicine first of all, it's an investigational medicine. We are enrolling studies in our first pivotal study.
Oh, okay.
But our product is called TNX102SL, and it is a sublingual tablet that patients put under their tongue at bedtime.
Okay. Boy, that's a hard name to remember. You better come up with a better name if you want to sell it.
At this stage of development, many products have a name that is just basically the symbol of the company and a number.
All right. When do you think it might be available for everyday use for people with both conditions?
Right now, we're targeting marketing of the product for fibromyalgia in 2017. And we don't have as good visibility on plans for PTSD because we're a little bit earlier in our development.
Oh, wow. This is good news, though, for both sets of people.
Yes, these patients are desperate for new therapies, and we believe that if it's approved, ours could be a very important addition to the armamentarium that doctors have to help these patients.
So there's somebody listening. Okay, I'm picturing myself listening, and I'm picturing myself suffering from one of these two conditions, and I say, you know what I'll do? I'll just go get some sleeping pills. I mean, what's the difference between falling asleep with another sedative? What do you call them, sedatives?
Yeah.
Well, our product is a sleep quality drug, not a sleep quantity drug. So our product does not increase the speed at which you fall asleep or how deep you sleep. It improves the quality of sleep. So products that are traditional sedative hypnotics that you would call a sleeping pill,
Right.
those do not improve the quality of sleep. And in fact, when a physician takes care of a fibromyalgia patient, it's not uncommon for the fibromyalgia patient to come to their office already on these medicines, and typically the first part of therapy is to wean them off these products because they actually disrupt the architecture of sleep.
Oh, wow. Boy, what an interesting topic. Did you have a question, Robin? It looks like you do.
Since sleep is one of the symptoms of these two diseases, I guess for lack of a better word, and you're treating one of the symptoms, is that going to make it easier for the doctors to get to the actual root of the problem and treat that so maybe the problem goes away?
We hope so, but I think that that's more than our most optimistic predictions for our product. Unfortunately, I think it's fair to call fibromyalgia incurable, but we think that we can make a very significant difference in the quality of these patients' lives and how they cope with fibromyalgia.
Wow. Okay. Now I know that our listeners are hoping that I ask you for a way to find out more information. So is there a website they can go to?
Yes, thank you. Our website is www.tonixpharma.com, and that's TONIXPHARMA. And Tonix, TONIX, that name comes from a modernization of the word tonic, like a tonic is a gentle medicine,
right.
A gentle soothing medicine.
Right. Okay, so Tonix with an X, TONIXPHARMA, tonixpharma.com. Would the medicine that we're talking about be usable for somebody else who needed better quality sleep but had neither fibromyalgia or PTSD?
Well, we haven't studied it in patients with other problems, but I think that once we make more progress in fibromyalgia, we might study it for other people who don't have restorative sleep. But at this point, we really are focusing on the fibromyalgia indication.
All right. Well, I know that you've got a lot of people happy to hear this news, Doctor. Well, thank you for coming on there and sharing it with us, and you did a great job explaining it. If I understood it, then anybody can understand it. The website, Tonix. Tonix, not toxic. Tonix, TONIX, tonixpharma.com. And thank you for being on the air with us today, Doctor.
Well, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Robin.
All right, we'll take a little break and be right back.
On the next Voice of Ocala, it's Trivia Tuesday with Tom. It's your chance to go up against me, the Trivianator, for great prizes. Golf at Country Club of Silver Spring Shores or at Ocala Municipal Golf Course. Gift cards from Mojo's Grill, and we'll even have Marion County Theater tickets to give away. Plus, there's a round in the water cooler.